back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Sue of Bendnstretch with Sue. In today's video, I'll be taking you through a restorative yoga practice. Now, what is the difference between a regular practice and a restorative practice? It's really one that is meant, just as the name implies, to restore the body, the mind, the entire being. Quite often, our lifestyles are very busy, always on the move, and triggering quite often a fight or flight response. A restorative practice allows you to take a step back and really bring things down to a level where you're able to allow yourself time to tune in to that rest and digest state, away from that fight or flight. Now, this practice can be used whether you're just finding you need a break throughout the day. It is an excellent practice to use at nighttime to help you with a more restful night's sleep. And it's also a practice that's said to be beneficial for those who suffer from depression. Quite often, this practice is used for people that are recovering from injury or even serious illness. It can even be effective in pain management, allowing you to slow down, tap into your breath, and really starting to shed away the stress in your life. So to do this practice, you do require quite a few props, and I've got quite a mountain of props here today. If you don't have these exact props, some cushions and some pillows can help to be a really good substitute. If you're using pillows, you might want to have a soft pillow as well as a more firm pillow, a bit more rigid. So I have a couple of bolsters here. I've got a flatter one and then I have a rounder one. They're both about the same length, great for support. I have a couple of blankets as well that can be helpful. I have a few blocks, just a plain square block. I've got a couple of other blocks with some grips to them, which really aren't necessary for this type of practice. You could also use the cushions in replacement for blocks. Even if you have a larger, maybe kind of a squishy ball, that can be, or even a couple of them, that can be helpful for some support. I don't have hands on my eye pillow at the moment, but I do have an eye mask here, which can be quite helpful to just close off light, and usually the eye pillow has a little bit of weight to it that applies a really nice gentle pressure over the eyes. You may want to fragrance this with a few drops of lavender oil, which will further help you to be more relaxed. So let's begin. Each of these poses are held for approximately 5 to sometimes 10 minutes. But for the sake of the video, I'll just take you through about 4 poses, and if you choose to do these later on, you could extend the period of time or just simply pause the video and stay there a little bit longer. Now, if you end up falling asleep in any of these poses, that's quite okay. It really means that you're able to let go of the stress and really let your body begin to move to a more relaxed state. Now, if you have some quiet, peaceful music that you might enjoy as background music, you could also plug that in. Now, for our first position, we'll be coming into a seated forward bend. Now, the forward bend can be supported with through the legs with the blocks, the help of your blocks, or even a rolled up blanket. So if you're opting for a little bit more softness, you may choose to roll up a blanket, place it behind you. You also want to make sure that your clothing is comfortable as you settle in. Now, for this supported forward fold, you may want to have a little bit of space to allow the bolster to rest on, and I might use this extra block here, or even some of the blankets. You may want to throw them over your shoulder to make it more comfortable. You could also cover up your feet if you don't have any socks on, so to make sure that because of the lack of movement, you don't begin to get a chill. So you do want to stay nice and comfortable and nice and warm as you remain here. So as you allow yourself to soften, allow the eyes to close. So this is one where the eye mask would be more suitable than the eye pillow, just because the eye pillow will be staying on with the head coming forward. So if you wanted to choose that option, go ahead and place that on. You may find as well that a blanket draped over top of the shoulders just adds a little bit more weight, a little bit more downward pressure. And allowing yourself to stay here relaxed, at peace, beginning to observe your breathing as you let your breath slow right down, particularly the exhales. So you may want to begin counting the length of your inhale, and then perhaps with or without pause between the inhale and the exhale, you move into a longer, smoother out breath. The idea of setting up in these poses is to not be forcing or doing, but really allowing, even more so than a yin practice. That's why we use as many supports as possible to keep the body comfortable. finally, you can begin to make your way back out again, just by slowly unrolling. And as you come up, you might want to take a shoulder roll or two and just gently stretch as you breathe in, as if you're waking up for the first time in the morning. And as you ease out of the position, moving your props out of your way, we'll prepare to move into a counterbalancing, which is one of my favorites. We're coming into supported fish, as you may have noticed in the thumbnail. And this one is one that is extremely beneficial for our posture, because so many of us tend to have more of a forward bending lifestyle, just because we tend to do everything in our lives out in front of us. So as you set up, again, if you do not have a bolster, or if you find maybe you're able to kind of squeeze in your pillow to create more of a firm support, or you could even roll up a blanket and just lay it lengthways on your mat in order to provide you with that support for the spine. From here, we'll bring the soles of the feet together, and you want to have that bolster placed where it's going to be comfortable for your lower back. Many people find it quite comfortable right at the base of the spine, while others find that creates a bit too much angle if you don't have a lot of flexibility in the lower back or have any pre-existing discomfort there. You might want to take it up a little bit more between the shoulder blades. So that's where the rolled up blanket could make the angle much, much less and give you still some very good support for opening up the chest and the front lines of the body. So if you're using the blocks or cushions, you can have those supporting right underneath the backs of your thighs. Without the support, over a period of time, that extended period of time, you may start to find that the pulling in the inner thighs starts to create a reaction where the muscles begin to tighten. So we want to avoid that. We want to instead allow those muscles to loosen. And again, covering up if needed, just to make sure those feet stay warm. Because of the lack of movement that you're creating here, you may find that your toes start to get cold, the extremities get cold, even your body. So you want to ensure that you're nice and comfortable, nice and warm as you set yourself up for approximately 5 minutes we'll be here for. So laying back, and again, if you do choose to use your mask, this is a good one, or if you have the eye pillow, you can place it over the eyes and just allow them to rest. Really give that little bit of pressure over the eyeballs can be quite enjoyable. Relaxing, softening the face, and you may find it takes you a few minutes just to begin to feel more at ease and able to start to let go. So doing a little bit of a body scan while you're here can be quite helpful, where you begin right at the tips of your toes and maybe give them a bit of a wiggle, or just mindfully relax the toes. Relax the soles of the feet, tops of the feet. Relaxing the ankles. Just feeling the weight in the feet. Feeling the weight through the legs. If you begin to feel some discomfort, perhaps, from having the knees pried open this way, you could extend the legs long once again, and maybe just slide that rolled up blanket or extra pillow or bolster behind the knees. And just keeping the legs long instead of butterflied in this position. So it's always important as you're surrendering and letting go to give yourself the permission to make these positions, these postures, really fit for you and your body. We're not all coming from the same place. We have different injuries, different vulnerabilities. So the yoga journey allows you to discover how to make it work for you and your body. Relaxing through the hips, softening through the belly. Softening through the chest. You feel your ribs expanding more easily as you relax the chest. Makes breathing into those lungs and filling them up with prana so much easier. As you breathe out and relax a little bit more, you can feel the weight of your torso sinking into that support. Continuing to pry open the chest, making more space for you to breathe into. Relaxing and softening through the face. So much tension can be held here. Forehead. All those muscles around the eyes. The jaw. We concentrate throughout the day. I quite often might have the forehead scrunched up, the eyes squinted, the jaw tightened. So simply placing the tip of your tongue behind the top front teeth allows the jaw to unclench, the breath to continue to flow, such ease. Take a few more breaths here. Feeling full stretch, opening through the body. It's good to just restore balance in your body. And taking a deep breath, you can use your hands to gently help guide the legs back together again. You can use your arm on your favorite side to help you to roll away from that support so that as you push yourself up, you can come up to a more reset position. Preparing yourself for the next pose. So we've had the forward bending, the back bending, and now bringing that spine back into perfect alignment by coming into a reclined spinal twist. So from here, once again, you'll be using support. Make sure you have everything to cover up and remain nice and warm. And just to demonstrate and show you what this looks like, I'm going to be bringing my leg into the chest. It doesn't matter which one, we're going to do both of them. But you're going to take that leg and bring it across the body for a very typical supine twist. Now the shoulder of the same side of the leg that you're bringing across should remain grounded. Now if you find that it's peeling off the floor, what you could do is you could slide a blanket and just tuck it underneath that shoulder blade so that you are able to relax the shoulder, the upper arm into the floor or into the blanket so that you're not finding yourself struggling to keep that arm lifted. Now you could also use the bolster or even some blankets, maybe stacking them, maybe even the combination of bolster and block to place your knee up on so that as you rest and surrender, so making sure the toes are covered up. If you don't have socks or slippers on, you could have your socks, slippers on. Once you have the legs set up, the arms set up, you can keep your gaze either looking directly up towards the ceiling and then closing your eyes from there, and or turning the head away from your bent leg so that you're able to move into a comfortable position for your neck, your chest, your shoulder. And we don't want to be creating any kind of struggle. Now, depending on how comfortable you are, you could pull the knee up a little bit closer to the chest. Just trying to get the time set here so that we know exactly how long to stay here. Again, be sure to use your eye mask or your eye pillow to make it more comfortable. And starting that body scan once again, this time you might want to start in reverse. Starting from the top of the head, checking in with the forehead, all of those facial muscles. When you breathe out, relax them. You might find a soft, effortless smile creates much more peace in the jaw. Makes it easier to breathe. And at any time, should you feel discomfort, make sure that you're bringing support where you need it. You may want to tuck a blanket right underneath your bottom hip, or maybe giving you some support to the lower back. You could have another pillow behind you just to give you a nice soft support. So many options to customize this, make it just right for you. If you are a type A personality, this would be very counter to what you're used to. But it is said in yoga, the pose that you avoid the most or dislike the most is the one that you require the most. Bear that in mind as you catch yourself perhaps struggling a little bit to remain calm, peaceful, and still. Continuing to move the awareness down through the rest of the body. Feeling the breath moving in and out as you relax through the shoulder, chest. As you relax through the hips and allow the weight of that top leg to surrender into the twist a little bit more. You're able to feel a deeper twist. Nicer release for the lower back and for the hips. Piriformis, a deep gluteal muscle, gets a good stretch here. So you release those tight hips. Get a great stretch through the outer thigh, which helps to bring some balance into the thigh, which helps to balance out the knee. And continuing to soften all the way down to the toes. So from here, as you slowly make your way out, we're going to balance this out by coming into the same exact pose on the opposite side. So you don't have to move very much. Just perhaps readjust yourself. Maybe take a moment to come into a bit more of a neutral position. You can bring the knees into the body, give yourself a little bit of hug here as you rock side to side and feel really nice for that low back. As you let your body pressure push down, create really beautiful acupressure. And as you are ready to, adjusting yourself, using your props here once again. I'm just going to take that other bolster and use it as a guide, just to show you how the back can be supported further. Bringing my props over to the opposite side as I now bring the opposite leg in toward the chest and coming into my twist. So once again, I can use that blanket underneath my shoulder. I can use the block if needed on top of the bolster for extra lift. I can have as much lift here as is needed for me, making sure that I'm covered up nice and warm, using this to either prop the shoulder as I open up the arms and bring my head in position, either looking straight up with the eyes closed or turning the head a little bit or a lot. If I needed the extra support for the back, I could simply use that bolster right behind the hip and kind of prop me up a little bit more so I get a deeper twist and I'm held in place with the support. So again, a blanket tucked underneath that hip could work just as well. So use what you have. You might have to hunt around a little bit to find the perfect props. The more often you practice, the more familiar you get with what works. And of course, depending what you've been doing prior to the practice, you may find that everyone is a little bit different. So you're never coming into exactly the same position, even in the same pose. So let yourself relax once again. Enjoy that time that you have generously carved out of your schedule today to practice this. It really is a gift to yourself, giving yourself the time to nurture yourself rather than listening to the many demands that are imposed upon us, either from ourselves or from those around us, to give yourself the gift of time where you step away from everything else and just concentrate on giving your body what it needs. So important. A paced breath is always going to help to keep you present. You may find that as you get into the position, you're able to focus on your breath, focus on relaxing, and very shortly after being there, you begin to lose sight of that. You get drawn into thought, the chatter. So whenever that happens, be kind to yourself. Do congratulate yourself for being aware that it is happening, and just come back to that calm, the breath, what's going on within the body, time and time again. It's not about getting it perfect. It's about the practice of it. It's a discipline like any other. Different challenges with each discipline. So we're here for a few more breaths here. So let yourself indulge in the smoothness of breath, how good it feels to relax. And as you take a deeper breath again, very gently unwinding yourself. So as you move those props out of the way, and once again, you can bring knees in. You can do a little bit of rocking from side to side, even forward and back, or whatever feels right for you. You can roll all the way over onto your side to help to press you up. And we're going to come into one final pose for this practice. And this one is the legs up the wall. Now this one is very restorative because of extending those legs against the wall, gives you the support needed. You may find that you enjoy having a blanket right underneath the lower back Gives you a little bit more cushion, gives you a nice soft surface for the lower back. Again, make sure that you have what you need to keep you warm and comfortable. And you might also want to have some support for the back of your head. While you're laying back in the position, you want to have your forehead and your chin nice and level so that you're not jarring your chin into the chest, nor are you pointing it way up to the sky where you put pressure on the back of the neck. So as we set it up, we're going to bring the hip nice and close to the wall. And as you use the arms to kind of help you work your way up, you're going to turn, and then from here, bring the legs up against the wall. So I like to keep my toes covered. They do tend to get cold. And as we align ourselves here, you want to have your bottom as close to the wall as possible. Depending on how tight your hamstrings are, you may find that you want to have more of a pillow underneath your lower back and maybe being a little further away from the wall where you have an opportunity to bend the legs a little bit more. Now, as you, again, just like the other poses, get yourself comfortably set up, you can bring the arms out to the sides if you like, keeping them closer to the hips, maybe in line with the chest, or even bringing them back behind you, keeping the palms turned up. As you let yourself rest here for this final one, this one is ideal for bedtime. It is a wonderful way to let any swelling that you've accumulated in the ankles and the lower legs to move down, as well as a great opportunity to relieve any crampiness that you may have in the leg, especially for those who suffer from restless leg syndrome. Reversing the effect of gravity this way really allows the blood flow to drain from some of those blood vessels that may not function so well, varicose veins or even spider veins. Lymphatic fluid doesn't have a pump of its own. Therefore, if we are not moving very much, that lymphatic fluid has difficulty making its way up against gravity. So the inversion that this creates is perfect for helping that detoxification of your body to take place. Again, be sure to have support for the arms if you need it, to make them more comfortable. Taking time to scan the body again. Check in with breath again. Maybe even taking time to really feel gratitude as you feel the benefits of this dedicated time of practice. Let yourself appreciate the gift of time you've given yourself. as we prepare to move again. Make sure you do so slowly. If you have time today to stay here longer, by all means, go ahead. Stay here longer. Let yourself enjoy the soothing relaxation this brings to your entire state and frame of mind. If you're moving out, or when you do choose to move out, you can once again bring the knees into the body. Carefully roll to your favorite side. You can cradle the head as you remain there for a few moments, giving the blood flow an opportunity to neutralize back to the heart so that you don't get lightheaded as you make your way back up again. And as we move back to a seated, comfortable position, again, taking a moment to really appreciate this time that you've dedicated and given yourself today. I really want to thank you for spending time with me today. Be sure to let me know how you enjoyed this in the comments down below. Give me one of these if you liked it. Share it with your friends. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you'll know when I upload new content, and you can check it out and check me out in the next video. Namaste.